people in custody tonight after the FBI search of a Diamond District pawn shop. The two men had been buying stolen luxury items from South American theft groups and then reselling them at their store.
So the owners of this store right here are illegally living out a twisted version of the American dream with the alleged help of an American.
Bruh.
Regularly serving as fences for South American theft groups. Their Diamond District pawn shop raided Tuesday.
Someone is trying to break into the house right now. My daughter is there. This is Joe Burrow's house.
Federal prosecutors say the thieves made...
Chat, this dude looks like it was made to be watched by Asman.
Off with
this is Asman bait.
$300,000 in luxury items, including watches, glasses, piles of cash, and Louis Vuitton luggage. The alleged gangbangers also posed wearing the NFL stars JB9 and number 9 chain necklaces.
They come here almost exclusively to commit and engage in criminality.
I feel like my privacy has been violated in more ways than one.
Prosecutors say in their search Tuesday, investigators found large quantities of suspected stolen property here at the pawn shop, as well as from a storage facility in New Jersey, where they also found sports memorabilia and power tools that are commonly used to open safes.
These are the individuals that wake up every day with one intention, is to commit as many crimes as possible to make money in any way possible.
Bro, I love how I would say as in bait, like as like a funny joke, and you see like you hone on the one thing that it could mean, and you, dude, what did this happen to you?
Links.
Bro, this is not about what's happened or whatever. It's just a commentary. The commentary is very Asman baity. Is like I don't
Here,
know.
legitimate. And with one of these operations taken down right in the heart of Manhattan, you've got to wonder how many other predatory businesses like this are hiding in plain sight. Especially when crime statistics show New York City has experienced an astronomical rise in moped-related snatch and grab robberies over the last 2 years. An 8,000% rise to be exact, with criminals stealing watches, purses, bags, and other valuables from unsuspecting victims in some of the city's richest neighborhoods.
Ooh. Those are dog shit.
Which happened last summer when thugs approached customers at restaurants, forcing them to put their Rolexes in pillowcases before speeding off without getting caught. But it doesn't stop there. The city also saw a rise in robberies in Central Park and in Midtown by Times Square. And when you combine those with the out-of-control shoplifting epidemic we're experiencing, a troubling picture starts to emerge of a city flooded with so many illegally stolen items that they're now being sold openly at stores on the side of the street. And that brings us to the real reason why this bust is so important. It exposes a highly profitable industry that, when combined with New York's sanctuary city status, acts as a magnet to bring the world's worst criminals to our city, where we not only allow them to hide from the federal government while they live in taxpayer-funded homeless shelters, but also the opportunity to be the worst versions of themselves, all thanks to New York's decriminalization of petty theft and assault, which, as you're about to see, has created a pipeline of products stolen from the law-abiding and then sold on the streets of New York in broad daylight. This right here is the entrance of the business where this gang was allegedly able to sell off stolen property. And it's right in the heart of Midtown on 47th Street, 6th Avenue, the Diamond District. I got my wife's engagement ring here. Not at this place, at another place nearby. But the point is, this is an area full of legitimate businesses that have been here for decades.
That's
but
boring.
Hiding in plain sight was apparently a criminal operation of proportions nobody ever imagined.
Prosecutors say the men brokered the sale of countless pieces of stolen merchandise taken from across the United States by South American theft groups. The two were allegedly the middlemen, buying the loot from the thieves and selling it at their store. A customer of the pawn shop.
So what's unbelievable about this is that the store on the upper floors here, they're paying thousands of dollars a month to be right here in the middle of Manhattan, but they're selling stolen items from all across the country. But before we get into this wild story about how a gang of foreign criminals was able to break into homes all across America, it's important to understand that this collusion of legitimate businesses and unlawful residents of this country is nothing new in America's largest sanctuary city, which is home to over 400,000 people who are illegally residing in the United States. Which creates a big problem. You've got a massive number of people who can't legally work yet need to feed themselves, pay rent, and buy clothing, creating an opportunity for...
Okay, but are they illegal though?
businesses to prey upon these people or to team up with criminal gangs and then prey upon the rest of society.
A gang of Chilean migrants are accused of snapping brazen photos after allegedly storming Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow's $7.5 million Ohio mansion. The alleged gangbangers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not deaf. I heard him say it though, but I didn't hear any other source say it though.
Also posed wearing the NFL star's JB9 and number 9 chain necklaces. Burrow's girlfriend.
So these guys that were running stolen products up to the 3rd floor of this store right here, they might look like jokers from the photos they posted on social media, but they knew exactly where they were going, they knew how to get in, and this might not be the first celebrity's home they raided. However, the FBI says that stolen goods from multiple celebrity home invasions were being sold out of this particular business. The full extent to how those items got there has not yet been revealed by prosecutors. But the thing that's odd about this robbery is that these guys had no problem taking pictures and showing off with all their loot. Either this was their first time committing this sort of crime, or they'd done so many home invasions and successful raids that they figured nothing was going to happen to them and that they were invincible. And the amount of money they were making probably made them feel unstoppable.
Someone is trying to break into the house right now. My daughter is there. This is Joe Burrow's house.
Investigators say the two men are linked to a nationwide burglary ring targeting the homes of high-profile professional athletes. That includes Kansas City Chiefs stars.
Well, that's a disaster.
Travis
What the
Kelce,
fuck?
NBA stars.
So what happened here is absolutely wild, and the details are incredibly shocking. Not just how the goods were stolen from this person's home, who did the stealing, and how they were offloaded right
Chad, what are the laws in New York, Jeff, for
here? But
like
it's not the only business in
defending your
town
home
which
or-
apparently has a no questions asked policy when it comes to buying things that walk in the door from people who might be criminals. In fact, everything that can be stolen gets stolen and resold here. You've got bodegas selling stolen food, clothing stores reselling stolen items from places like Macy's. And if you're curious about how these gang members might have met these people, well, there's a whole bunch of stores here that all say they're willing to buy valuables that might be secondhand. These criminals could literally have just gone up and down the block with a briefcase full of stuff, showing it to people until they found a willing accomplice. And the crazy thing is, it looks like they would have gotten away with their heist if they hadn't done something really stupid.
Body camera footage showing 4 Chilean nationals being questioned by authorities last month in Ohio.
Where are you guys headed to today, sir? Orlando? Wrong way. Florida's that way.
The man in the front passenger seat wearing a Cincinnati Bengals beanie, Burrow's team, and in the trunk, a Louis Vuitton bag and a shirt from LSU, where Burrow played in
A traffic stop. These guys were brought down by bad driving. Their car was full of stolen belongings, and the officer asked them where they were going, and they said, "Oh, we're going to Florida." And the officer's like, "Guys, Florida's that way." And this is crazy. They had $300,000 worth of valuables from this guy's home. The homeowner is signed to a 5.
Yeah, but are these guys migrants? These are just migrants. So see, again, like this article says migrants, he says illegals.
Year $275 million contract, which had a $40 million signing bonus. So he's incredibly wealthy. And apparently his home had security guards there, but these guys got in when the shift changed, revealing an incredibly high level of sophistication to this raid. And apparently they had planned this out in advance. They did not just show up, break the window, and...
Oh, my brain cooked. I think your brain is cooked for assuming. Well, I'm asking a question. If it's one way, I don't give a fuck. I imagine thinking I give a fuck about this being one way or the other. I don't give a fuck as long as it's accurate. I don't have any. You act like I have a dog in this fight. I don't
Steal
give a
whatever
fuck.
they could find.
I don't give a shit as long as it's not lying or
Apparently,
chilling.
the authorities found photos of the home in question on
you
their
might
cell
tell me
phones
feel
that
bad
were
about any
taken
questions?
prior to the break-in. And then they discovered something else that tied them to the owners of this business right here.
There were 4 men arrested for that, and according to federal prosecutors, one of the defendants, Djinsky, his cell phone is connected to the 2 men who were arrested in that case. So that was the connection to Joe Burrow. They're still trying to sort out all of the victims and identify the property in this case.
Wow, that is way more than some casual relationship.
Google
People
just
around this
fucking
business were in direct contact.
Is that? Okay.
With this gang that was out robbing celebrities' homes. And that could mean one of two things. It could mean that the owners of this business have the cell phone numbers of a lot of people who bring them expensive stuff. After all, there's a lot of businesses on this street that have rare and expensive things. And the last thing you want is for your customer to be standing outside your front door with a briefcase full of this stuff in New York City. It would be incredibly bad for business if one of your customers was followed and tracked down while making a delivery. And if you're heading headed to a New York City pawn shop or jewelry exchange and you get there and the door's locked, that could be a big problem. So maybe the cell phone connection, not that big of a deal. Or it could mean that these guys were in cahoots and they were in contact with these criminals as they were premeditating which homes they were going to hit up. Only time will tell, however, if a business gets busted reselling knowingly stolen merch, which they may have helped the criminals steal, they could be going away for a long time. But even if they do, as we touched on earlier, the criminal element that is stealing all of this wealth is still going to be out there, which means the opportunity to profit from the sale of all those stolen items will still be there as well, and the opportunity to make money supplying these criminals with the one thing they need.
Reaching further than the city.
And included Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, Colorado.
When confronted during a buy and bust operation, the NYPD says the gang members put up a fight. Still, detectives.
So these guys, apparently, they didn't want to go down without a fight. The police knew coming into this that these were violent criminals. But it gets even worse because look at this. One of the guys that they took down has prior arrests for weapon possession. Now that's incredibly serious. Weapons are no joke here. You're not even allowed to have them in certain parts of town. And if you get caught with an illegal one, that's a felony, which is supposed to come with prison time. Yet this guy somehow still had his freedom. He was living life as a criminal without a care in the world. And what kind of backwards message does that send to people who want to come here and be dangerous? We got signs all over Midtown, where I'm at right now, saying that you can't have weapons, yet when people get caught with them, nothing happens to them. That's why you've got people that are here selling them illegally. And that's why you've got people that are using them to commit crime all over town. And apparently also in other parts of the country where they're invading the homes of wealthy individuals to rob them and then sell whatever they stole on the streets of New York.
Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is a violent gang from Venezuela. On social media, police say they display their criminal enterprise and how they're expanding day by day here in the city.
They come here almost exclusively to commit and engage in criminality.
So there you have it. These gangs, these criminals, they didn't get here by accident. No, they came here because this is the perfect place to do what they want to do. And based on what our country's learned about some of these gangs, like this Tren de Aragua, everyone should have seen this coming. Because this one group in particular, they are human exploiters. It underpins every single crime they're involved in. And asylum seekers in New York City shelters reported being approached by gang members demanding that they join their gang and start committing crimes. Saying no would result in someone
I didn't fall for rage bait. I didn't even say anything.
Being branded an outsider, a fate nobody living in a government-funded homeless shelter that bans police from entering wants, because in these places the only morals come from the criminals that have taken them over. And of course these aren't the only criminals that have come here because of what New York City lets people get away with. We've got this theft ring of criminals from Chile who were here to do business and sell things to corrupt establishments that have a legitimate presence in this city. And we know that terror watch list suspects were apprehended at the U.S. southern border over the last few years and then disappeared into the country. This is incredibly frightening. And all of this crime and lawlessness is enabled by sanctuary city policies that bar the police here from cooperating with ICE. And when you stack on top of that our lax justice system, this entire place is just a...
Not even anybody. I'm just saying it. These points of contention that are heavily based on whether they're illegal or not. If you say they're illegal, but you haven't shown it, it's gonna. I'm listening to everything except for that part.
Playground for criminals to learn and perfect a trade they should never be engaged in the first place. What do you think about that? Are New York City's rules the reason we've got budding criminal empires sprouting up all over the place here? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Interesting. All right. Chat, guys, I'm going to go to kick.com.